Have you seen Top Gun Maverick? It looks like a movie about jets, but it's really a movie about legacy, about who steps up when someone else steps out, about what gets passed down on purpose or by accident. Let me ask you something most people don't like to think about. If something happened to you tonight, who would be flying the plane of your family's life tomorrow morning? Because here's the hard truth. When there's no plan, someone still takes the controls. It just might not be your spouse. It might not be your oldest child. It might not be the person you trust. It might be the court. And I meet people every week who tell me, we're just trying to save a few bucks. We'll do planning later. But what they don't realize is this. You don't save money by skipping planning. You just send the bill to your family later. And that bill doesn't come from a lawyer's office. It comes from a courtroom. In Top Gun Maverick, nobody jumps into a cockpit and hopes for the best. They sit down, they get a mission briefing, they learn the risks, they learn their role, they learn what happens if something goes wrong. Your estate plan is that briefing. It's the conversation you have with your family before the worst day of their lives shows up. It answers questions like, who speaks for me if I'm in a hospital bed and can't talk? Who raises my kids if I don't make it home? Who pays the bills if my account gets frozen? Who makes sure the house doesn't get lost to delays, fees, and paperwork? Without that briefing, the family doesn't get a clear plan. They get a summons, a court date, and a stack of paperwork that shows up right when they're trying to figure out how to say goodbye. That's not guidance, that's pressure. Every pilot in the movie has a wingman, someone close enough to see the danger before they do, someone trusted enough to follow without hesitation. In real life, those are the people you name in your plan: your power of attorney, your healthcare agent, your trustee, your guardian to your kids. These are the people who step into your shoes when you can't stand in them anymore. And here's the part that nobody tells you. If you don't choose them, the court will. A judge who has never met your family, never been to your home, never sat at your dinner table, gets to decide who leads your family in your absence. I've seen siblings stop speaking because they thought the other one took control, not because anyone was evil, but because no one was named. Every flight in Top Gun Maverick hits turbulence, an engine failure, a sudden threat, a moment where the whole mission changes. That's what an accident, a stroke, or a sudden diagnosis feels like in real life. And here's what most people don't expect. Grief doesn't pause for the world. Bills still come. Banks still lock accounts. Employers still expect you to show up. I've watched a spouse stand in a line at a bank, holding a death certificate, being told, I'm sorry, I can't help you. I've watched kids pack up a bedroom because the house couldn't be kept without legal authority to refinance or sell. That's what saving a few bucks on planning can turn into. Thousands of dollars in court fees, months of delays, and stress that shows up at the exact moment your family's already breaking. I recently had a phone call from a gentleman and he wanted an estate plan and he told me that he had most of the planning done. I said, that's great. Tell me what that means for you. And he had figured out what he wanted to give to people and how he wanted to take care of the kids. I said, that's fantastic. That's a great start. Then he said, so I shouldn't have to pay you that much. And I asked, what do you mean? And he said, well, you're just going to use a template. And I hear that a lot, and I understand. I mean, you can only write something so many times, and the language is going to look very familiar. And I explained to him that he's not actually buying documents from me. He's buying my time and expertise. Together, we're going to make the right plan for him and his family. The documents come free. The goal of every mission isn't the takeoff, it's the landing. A good estate plan is a safe landing for your family. It says, here's who takes care of my children. Here's how my home is protected. Here's how my money is used, not fought over. Here's how my family stays out of court. This isn't about being rich. It's about being responsible and maintaining control. Because if you own a house, if you have kids, if someone would cry at your funeral, you already have an estate. The only question is whether you've given it instructions. At the end of Top Gun Maverick, the mission gets passed on. The next generation takes the controls. That's what you're really doing when you create an estate plan. You're saying, I love you enough to think about this now, so you don't have to figure it out later. So here's my final question. If something happened tonight, would your family have a flight plan? Or would they be trying to build one in midair? You don't make a plan because you're afraid of dying. You make a plan because you're committed to the people who will keep living. The greatest legacy that you leave behind isn't money, it's peace. This has been another Estate Planning Minute with Michael Glassford. If you enjoy these videos, please like, share, or comment. And for more information, visit legallifeplan.com.